Hi, I'm Wee Yeh, Cybersecurity Technologist from the Microsoft Enterprise Cybersecurity Group. Welcome to part 2 of the Cybersecurity Skills Training. In this part, we're going to discuss how to protect yourself against cyber attacks. One of the worst attacks suffered by any government was by the Philippines Electoral Commission. In this data heist, over 70 million records were stolen, consisting of personal identifiable data as well as passport numbers. This leaves a large number of people as potential victims to phishing attacks as well as identity theft. This is not unique. 18 million records were stolen from the American Office of Personnel Management. Today, we're going to discuss the 4 steps you can take to protect yourself against situations like these. Let's first discuss about identity management. Your digital identity is a token by which the system recognizes who you are and subsequently grants you access to data that you're authorized to access. This can come in any of the following 3 forms: what you know, what you have, and who you are. What you know is a challenge against a secret that's shared between the system and yourself. The secret shouldn't be something that's easily guessable, so the system knows that someone who presents that secret can be identified as you. What you have is something that's unique, that's in your possession. This can be your mobile phone. So if you can prove to the system that you have the mobile phone, the system knows that it is you who's logging in. Finally, who you are can be something that's static, for example, your fingerprint or your face, or it can be something dynamic, like how you behave online. Given all these factors of authentication that's open to you, it's important to tailor access and authentication according to what you're trying to protect and the environment that you're operating in. For example, if data is very crucial to the company, you may want to protect this with more than one factors. We call this multi-factor authentication. If you're operating in an environment that's not trusted, you may want stronger authentication or limit the access of data that you're granting to the system. Next, let's talk about device security. End-user devices presents a very big attack surface to the attackers because of the complicated management requirements due to diversity in device types as well as user personas, ranging from the power user to the Joe average who will install anything and everything on a device. A few steps that can help you protect your devices. First, make sure that software on the device is kept up to date. This will go a long way in preventing known attacks from happening on your system. In Windows 10, we've gone even further by introducing Device Guard and Credential Guard that will prevent exploits, even from zero-day attacks. Next, make sure that your users do not install any arbitrary software into their devices. Software download sites are infested with malware, and this can cause and introduce a lot of new challenges to how you manage devices. Finally, make sure you're running some anti-malware, for example, Windows Defender. Now, these 3 steps, keeping your device updated, keeping your device clean of unwanted software, running some anti-malware in your device is going to go a long way in keeping your devices safe. Third, phishing attacks. Human is security's weakest link. In over 70% of all attacks, phishing is the key landing vector. So how do you think about phishing attack and what they are? Phishing attacks really prey on human emotions. For example, the need to get attention, your fear of authority, or sometimes even greed. So if you receive an email from your boss asking you to open some attachment, you do not just click straight away. You want to check to see if something is suspicious. Does your boss always send that document? If it's asking for your username and password, you want to verify if that site is even legitimate. So 2 steps in stopping phishing attack at this track. Number 1, you have to stop, think, and check before you click on any link. Second, gain some awareness on how phishing attacks happen, so you're wary the next time you become a victim of phishing attacks. Step 4. How do you protect data in your organization? Let me just relate a case of a friend who works for a bank. So he was complaining to me one time where his users or his data, in fact, are being overprotected and yet underprotected at the same time. So how does this come about? In today's age where we talk about cloud delivery and mobile as the data recipient, data is flowing everywhere outside the organization. So how does the CISO or IT security control who have access to what data if it's falling all over in different parts of the world instead of just within the organization? So I shared with him about Microsoft's Azure Information Protection, where we think about every file as an entity to control, and we grant access to this entity that we are controlling by challenging against the identity of who should have access to it. So it doesn't really matter where the file comes from, as long as whichever application opens the file is now checking against the identity, making sure that whoever is accessing the file indeed has a right to it. On top of that, his users now have the right to revoke access when they believe they have overshared the data. So this liberalizes how data is being used, protecting at the right context, as well as extending protection beyond his four walls of his organization. Allow me to summarize the 4 steps to protect your organization against cyber attacks. First, identity management. Think about how you're balancing the different identity authentication factors against the environment your data is being used in, as well as the sensitivity of your data. Next, think about the device security. How safe is the device that is used to access those data? The key takeaway there is 1, make sure that your devices are kept up to date. Prevent your users from installing any useless software. And third, run some sort of anti-malware. Then, how do you guard against phishing attacks? The 3 steps that your users have to be aware of is to stop, think, and check before they click on any links. Finally, think about your data protection strategy in the cloud and mobile world. Are you still protecting your data sufficiently, given that they are beyond your 4 walls, while still accessing your data from anywhere by your users, so it's useful for your users? I hope you have benefited from the few tips I've given to you on how to protect your organization against cybersecurity attacks. In the next episode, we're going to share more about some attacks against the Korean nuclear plant operators and how machine learning can help improve threat detection. I'm Wee Yeh from Microsoft. Thank you for listening. Stay out of trouble.